So I'm a big fan of Sean Kyle's studios. This is the first bust I ever got from him. Obviously, the gyro captain from Mad Max 2 Stroke the Road Warrior. All right, lovely bust, lovely detail, joy to paint. Although I've still got an awful lot of lilac paint I don't have much call for these days. But lovely bust. There's a couple more. There's the Lord Among Us and there's the Warrior Woman, but I've just not got round to, or hadn't got round to getting one of the others. And then I follow Sean on his social media, and he started doing in progress shots of a bust of Brett from Alien. Let's bring Bruce back in. And yeah, being a massive Alien fan, and also at the same time we were doing the Alien character podcast. You know, I had to have it as soon as it came out, and as soon as Sean announced it was available, I got one. It was quite a bit more money than the Gyro Captain, and when it arrived, I realised why, because the size difference is quite huge. That's the Gyro Captain. Look at him in envy there. Yeah, so this was a hefty beast, as you can see, and really good fun to do. But there were challenges. There was the challenge of the detail on the Nostromo cap, the Hawaiian shirt. That took an awful lot of reference work to get that. I've never had to paint a tabby cat before, and again, the amount of researching to try and just work out where the stripes were on Jones, you know, and just what shade his eyes were. And yeah, and another challenge was how to reproduce stubble. He's quite a stubbly chap, was old Brett, in this scale. But there he is, and this was a few years ago that I've done this. But yeah, lovely project. In fact, I've done a video. Yeah, you can search back and find that. Yeah, almost immediately afterwards, Sean was being asked, "Are you going to do any more? Are you going to do any more?" And he's been teasing us for quite a while, and then started releasing in production stages of his sculpting, because he's old school. He still sculpts. It's not none of this 3D malarkey. He sculpts, and he was doing Brett, the working partner to Parker. Did I say Parker? Anyway, Brett, the working partner to Brett. So and yeah, it came out a few weeks ago. Sean said we're good to go. Contacted him, bought one, and it's come. All right. So this is the unboxing, and I swear to God I haven't opened it. Right, on the other side, I'm just not showing you the other side because that's got my address on it, and I'm not showing you that. So it's heavy, and I'll tell you now, I know that what he's doing, he's been very clever. He's linking to what he's done with Brett. You'll see why in a minute. I did it in that photo. Right. Right. I'm getting out. So I can see we've got multicolored resin. That's the base. I can see that. Yeah, let's do the base first. Let's work our way up. All I had to do, again, if you know, even I can tell you back to the Brett bust BD, with a bit of clean up, a few air bubbles, not too bad. So dump that. So that's the back, isn't it? Let me bring in Brett again, because he's linking them so they match. Yeah, that's exactly the same. Can you see there? That is the same as that. All right. So he's most probably used that sculpt, and why not? You know, you've already sculpted it, use it again. This looks like an arm, because what he's doing is he's copied the pose. It's the same thing. It's a bust, a one-armed bust, a right-armed bust. And he's in a Ziploc bag. Hang on. There we go. Bit full detail, bit of a mould line along there, running down there. Got to deal with that, but can you make out that? Look at the pores. Smashing. Again, he's replicating what he did with Brett. It's good. Ooh. Nope, no idea what's in here. Let's have a look. Oh, there's multiple parts. Ah, one bird. There's a piece of fabric, two pieces, but three. There's multiple. Let's have a look. There's multiple pieces of fabric. Ah, that is the blade of the knife that he's holding. Brett's holding his cigarette. Um, Parker is holding his knife. You know, it's the spoon knife thing. That's the other end. Um, he's recreating the moment from the chestburster scene. Okay, I'm not sure what the little bit of wire is for. I'm gonna have to go to Sean's Facebook page, have a look. And yeah, he's been very clever here as well, in that instead of having Jones peeking around his left side, Parker's going to have the chestburster. And there's, no, that's not the tail. Is it the tail? No, that's the tail. Yeah, the tail's in, well, his body's in three parts. That bit, that bit, that bit. This is, worked it out. It's the end of the alien tail. All right. That's nice to put them in a little box like that. All right. This must be the base that's the Nostromo. Yeah, there you go. Funny, I hope in the video for Brett that I did, I hope I actually went into detail about what colours I used to paint this, because unlike what you're seeing there, there are colours in there. I'm not sure what I did. I've got an idea of what I did, but you know, I need them all to match. But yeah, same base again. So yeah, Sean's using his existing mold. Let's get the box out. Oh, something else interesting. Ah, certificate of authenticity, model number 9. Okay, there you go. We don't have to discuss the bonus situation. I've got it right here. So here we go. Here's the main man himself. Save this deliberately to laugh. All right. It's interesting. I mean, hopefully Sean will continue and do the rest of the crew, and I'm hoping he does the same thing. You know, the right armed bust. But you know, what's Payne going to be holding in his hand? What's Ripley holding? What's Lambert going to be holding? Let's have a look then. What hell? Look at that. Bloody hell. Sean, you're a talented boy. and no mistake. Look at that. Look at that. Mold line going up and over. I can pick that out. You know, I can go in here, you know, just, oh, that's happening now, that you can pick those out, no problem. The beauty of um, Yafat is plain t-shirt, no baseball cap, but there's the badge and a smaller scale, so that's going to be a slight challenge. But yeah, this fits up and in here like this. Somehow I'll work it out. All right, so fabulous work. Looking forward to this. It's going to take a while. Brett took a while, but not as long as Brett because it's not as involved. But so looking forward to doing it, and so looking forward to when they're done. Have the two buddies. I think I'll put them in my display case on the bottom shelf, so they're on the lower decks. Okay, so I'm done with cleaning up, clean things up, and given everything apart from this one, and this one here a warm soapy bath. Got to do that tomorrow, and then we can move forward. Yeah, so like I said before, I was a bit stumped with certain things, and it turns out these. Oh, where's the camera? Yeah, these blue things. By looking at Sean's uh, Facebook page, it's actually the collar of his shirt. All right. I had it worked out earlier and it's kind of like that. All right. And this one, this smaller one, kind of can't do it now. Now I'm doing it on camera. That's sort of kind of like that. And then the grey bits, like so, on the back by his bandana, that slots in. So it's his jacket collar. Let's see if I can get the other one on as well. All right, like so. All right, this one isn't playing ball. I have trimmed it, but I think what I've got to do, because the resin is very thin, if I heat it up in hot water, it will be flexible. So I think what I'm going to do is when I go to attach that is do that, put a bead of super glue just around and down and hold him in place until it's set, and then just to make sure it's totally secure, get up and under with some 5-minute epoxy. So yeah, that's his collars. There was a bit of cleaning up to do with the odd mold line, but that's pretty much done. The problem I've had with it is Sean's been so good with the see the pores and the folds in the skin. If I try rubbing it down, I'm going to lose all that beautiful detail. So that was slightly tricky. The other thing, that's the end of the tail, which I have washed. Let's get the boring bit out of the way first. The knife with the spoon on the end is like so, and then there's a hilt either side which goes in the palm of his hand. So it basically will be like so. All right, but then the first thing I'm going to be doing is actually assembling the chest burster. There was a mold line just down here which I had to get rid of. As I said before, 3 parts. This one, I line up the base, sort of goes together like so. All right, but there is a bit of a gap, so I've got to do that and that. So I'm really looking forward to painting him, you know, getting out my book of Alien, that fantastic book that's the whole story in frame grabs, to get the correct amount of blood on there. There is one little issue. which I realized when I was just, you know, getting like the flashing off of here and that. Just the same as Brett, Parker is going to sit on the tail, and you can see here and here that Sean has sculpted little recesses in the jacket, because that's where the tail is supposed to go. But the part that, no matter what I do, I can't press that up. So I think what I'm going to do is, before I get to the priming stage, is just have him in together like this and get some milli put out and just fill those gaps in all the way along there. All right, so that's what I got to do before priming. So, and that will be my next job after I've washed those pieces there. I'll be doing that, but while, you know, that's soaking and that, I can put this fella together. So looking forward to that. So let's continue. All right, so I'm some way along. Um, that's the chest burster is, as you can see, assembled, and I primed him in grey, and then sprayed him in Game Workshop's Wraithbone. Sorry, it's flaring out like mad. Sorry about this. That might do for a base colour, but I'm thinking a bit of Screaming Skull might be more appropriate. So I'll come back for that. What shall I say next? Oh yeah, got the base. This also had the grey Wraithbone treatment, but this is something that I thought was going to be a problem. When I did the Brett, without knowing that there were going to be further busts. So it's like, oh crap, I've got to match everything. Let me bring in Brett. So there's the two bases. Now you can't really see. I'm not going to do a compare and contrast. This is in Wraithbone, which looks exactly the same as this one. This is in Vallejo Ivory. So I'm going to do that to that, because these are going to be alongside each other, because, you know, they're partners, aren't they? So yeah, I've got to copy what I did there, right? So that's all right. Something I hadn't realised is that there's a difference between Brett and Parker, in that Brett, he properly is recessed down into the alien's tail like that, right? And because of that, and because of his jacket being dark, I glued the two together before I primed and stuff like that. I haven't done that with Parker. As you can see, Parker is now all assembled and in with his various coloured resin parts. A little bit of filler here and there, nothing too bad. No, the thing is, when he goes together, he is sitting quite proud of the tail rather than being recessed inside it, right? But that's all right. But because of that, and the fact that, you know, he has a cream coloured jacket, I'm painting the two separately, all right? And I thought there was going to be a problem copying what I did on the Brett one, but luckily, looking back on the YouTube that I did on the Brett build, I knew which grey I'd use. It's a Games Workshop Eshin grey, which is like this quite a warm grey. But on my video, I said that it was just washes of Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade to give me a brownish tint, and then I can see, because it's glossy, that I gloss varnished it. All right, so that's what I'll be doing there. And the other thing, when I've, you know, glued on the jacket lapels and the edging of the jacket, here and here, I haven't quite glued them down, and that's because when that all slots together like so, let's move that out of the way, they actually cover up a part of the join, and I don't want to glue them down and then find I can't get the tail in there. So what I've done is, as you can see, I can move them out and move them in just prior to gluing. All right, so these are going to be slightly white, bing, like that, for the painting, and then I'll be gluing them down once everything's assembled. So yeah, good to go. I mean, we're underway with the chest burster and the base and the tail. Tomorrow, because this is the evening, tomorrow Parker's going to get a spray of grey primer and then Wraithbone over the top as a base coat, because I think that's going to help an awful lot with the cream of his jacket. All right, so I'll come back tomorrow with that bit done. It's actually 2 or 3 days later. In the end, I decided not to do the Wraithbone. I just stayed after spraying on the grey primer. I put on white primer and I've left it at that. All right. So here we go. Challenging time, because I've only ever painted Caucasian skin or monster skin. So this is quite a challenge for me. And I don't know quite how I'm doing. I know nearer the end. But how do I go about it? Looking at my reference photos, actually, let me show you my reference. My old, trusty, and very old, as you can tell by the state of it, the Book of Alien, the movie novel, which I've had since '79, which was, you know, back then, when before video, these brilliant books where it's the whole story in photos with the dialogue and descriptions, right? Which is proving to be, is going to prove to be brilliant for when I gore up the chest burster, and it's also good for studying good old Yafat. And yeah, he has a pretty dark skin. So how do I go about that? Well, what the stage I'm at the moment here, ignore the top, right? I mean, he's going to have very black hair, but that's actually helped me out because I can use that as like a test area for colors. The stage I'm at the moment is I've used Citadel's Mornfang Brown, right? Which is a mid to going towards dark brown. And that's kind of like given me the colour on his lips there, like that, right? But Yafat was a lot darker than that. So last night I've washed on Thondia Brown, all right, which has got me this far. And it's all right, but I've got, I don't know if that's dark enough. I'm really not quite sure the next step. I would like to do some highlighting. That there's Yafat particularly had a colour variation on his ears and nose. I'm thinking I might do some dry brushing. The next stage, do a bit of dry brushing, get that Mornfang Brown, mix it up with some Bugman's Glow to just lighten it up a bit. I don't know. I'll see how I go. This is all new territory for me. Okay. But that's where we are with that. Also, you can see I've started picking out the patch on his sleeve. All right, so that's where we are with the main part. I'm continuing to add the, oh, you can't really see, but I'm continuing. No, you can't see that at all. Blooming heck, it's in there, but there's Agrax Earthshade in there. There is a brown tint to it, but it's just not visible at the moment. Yeah, this morning I'm going to get that book out, because now I've done him in Screaming Skull, and washed him with Agrax Earthshade. And yeah, in a minute I'm going to be applying the blood and on the base to match the Brett one. Over the top of that Wraith bone, I've painted Vallejo ivory, which I know I did, oh blimey, before. You can see just there. I've also put down a very watered Agrax Earth shade and wiped it off just to stain it. All right, so that's where we are. Looking forward to doing this fella. Not so looking forward to continuing with that fella. Sorry about the quality of that last part. I've only just played it back and realised that for some reason the camera had switched to its own little microphone rather than this microphone on my headset. So yeah, sorry about that. So a little bit of progress. I'm pretty much done now with the skin tones. I'm happy with that. And what I've done now is I've blocked in the eyes with ivory, which are still far too white. And of course, this is the problem. As you go up in scale, what would work on a smaller scale figure won't work. So I've got to put some sort of like grey wash just to take the starkness of the ivory away. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Also, I've started, as you can see here, I've finished with the grey, and I've put in the dark green and the light green. When I did the Brett bust, it was a continual matter of digging out my books and everything, but now I have Brett watching the building of his mate. I can use that as a very good reference material. All right, and then finally I've bloodied up the chest burster, and I've tried to keep true to the what you see in the in the stills, which is he's not a complete red, right? Especially on the front there. There's some of the skin is still showing through, so that's what I've done. And I've done what I usually do. I don't like to put it in as a solid red. As I say, what I do is this is Games Workshop's Blood for the Blood God. I used to use Tamiya Clear Red, but you have a problem watering that down nicely with water. With this one, it's all right. So what I do is I water it down and I'll put some on, and then I'll go in with it neat to give me the pardon my phone, the thicker, stronger, darker reds. All right. So I'm nearly done. What I wanted to just try and do here. By the way, you don't see any of this area in that shot when it comes up, snarls and scuttles away. But you do see this area, and there are some tiny little streaks of blood, and I'm going to try and emulate that. Sorry, it's now quite shiny, so this is whiting out like mad. All right, but I'm happy with how he's going. That's better. That's better. We've lost a lot of the whiting out there. So yeah, very pleased with how that's come about. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I've got to work on the eyes. I've got to work on the patch, and I've got to source or mix up a suitable like pastely mintily green for Parker's t-shirt. But we're underway, having fun with it, and I'll come back. I don't know when I'll come back. Most probably with that bit done, but I don't know about the rest. Okay, that's the chest burster done. Very happy with how he's come out, so I can put him to one side. Not quite done on the patch, as you can see. The trouble is yellow being yellow, you can't just paint it over a dark colour. So what I've done is I've painted all the yellow bits white, and I'm in the process of just picking them out in yellow. And then I've got to just tidy that up where I've gone onto the grey, like down there on the numbers, tidy all that up. And then I've got to do the rainbow colours, moving from the yellow outwards through orange and red and ending up with the lilac that's on the patch. As you can see, I'm darkening down his hair. Now, Yaphet Kotto has, in all the stills, absolutely jet black hair, and I don't know if I went completely jet black, if that's going to look right or not. So what I'm doing is I'm just darkening down and seeing how I'm getting on. I think, yeah, I've got to put the blue bandana on and the green t-shirt on, because this is the problem. If you're just working on one area without any other color around it, it's hard to gauge how everything's working. So I need to put other colors in to just see how this is going. All right. I finished on the eyes, and I tell you what, I put a light grey wash over the ivory, and it's like, is this right? Is this right? And it's really weird, isn't it? I've now picked out the irises, um, did the very edge in black, and instantly they start looking like eyes now. So next thing to do there is just fill them in with colour and pick out the pupil and gloss them. And yeah, I've got to start putting other colours in, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's not as involved a kit as Brett, because Brett's got the Hawaiian shirt as well as the all the other bits on his cap, like the scrambled egg and everything. But and yeah, this that's another question. His white tunic. How much do I weather it? How much do I leave it plain white? How much of a wash do I put over it? So these things will be occupying my modelling mind today. Okay, further developments. Just building up the colours on the patch there. That's going okay. What I thought I would do, just to ease the transition that there's going to be between the alien tail and Parker himself, the inside area, that join, because I don't know how much is going to be visible, I'm picking that out in the grey, and we'll be washing that to match that. So when that all goes together, hopefully it's not going to be too jarring. I found a suitable green in my stock. This is Games Workshop Niblet Green. I've just got to give that a wash and a dry brush. All right, and as you can see, I've put the bandana on. He's looking a bit freakish because I've done the eyes. All right, but they are not glossed yet, and they look really weird when they're not glossy. So that's the next thing, is put some gloss on them. Still, I'm in an RN about how much darker do I do the hair. I might try a little bit round the back, put some, because this is all just brown so far. But Yafat has got black hair, so I'm going to put some black on at the back, and then if I cock it up, if I mess it up, at least I can correct that, and it's not going to be too noticeable, all right? But we're nearly there. This is a much faster, as I say, than old Brett, because you know the colour schemes of his jacket. I mean, I'm leaving this. I was going to wash the jacket, but it's detailed enough, it's big enough scale that you can see the detail okay. And for an engineer, Parker had a pretty immaculate jacket, so I'm going to leave it as is, okay? All right, we're almost at assembly time. As you can see, I did do the hair black. Feel a lot better about doing that. But I changed the colour of the green. It wasn't pastely enough for me. So this is, I think it's Vallejo olive green or yellow. No, yellow green. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I've done all the underside. That's all ready to go. So we're almost, oh, and I've glossed the eyes as well. We're almost ready to stick the two main bits together. The cutlery I've done in silver, and this thing right at the beginning that I was wondering what on earth is that. It's actually the little band, the little bracelet that Parker has. It's really nice touch by Sean. Got to put that on when everything's done. So next thing to do is mix up some 5-minute epoxy glue, and I'm going to smear it all the way around and down. And it also seems that there's a big area there which goes into this area here, all right? And then bam, the join will be kind of like so. So not much else to say really. I'll come back once it's completed. Right, it's over to blurry cam and shaky cam. Stay still for the last bit to get all this in. There we go. So all done. Okay. This was easier than I thought it would be. As you can see, it's not stuck totally on. All I did was I held around the back there, because I didn't know whether it was going to work or not. I held one bit, one end in place with blue tack, super glued it. Then when that was set, just pulled this round, made sure it was looping nicely, held that in place with blue tack and glued it. All right. So, yep, that's on. The knife spoon thing is on. And here's and the buttons are a bit darker than they appear. You barely can see that they are some sort of like gold color in shots, but I'm happy with it, and that's the main thing. I said before on the Brett build that it's a stroke of genius on Sean's part. This is a lot of weight. Parker himself and the tail are only attached just here to the base, and I've pinned it. I used a metal coat hanger wire, and that goes up quite deep into Parker, but that's not much of a join, but it's a stroke of genius, I think. Sean did it with Brett and Jones, that Jones, the way he's positioned, actually shores him up a bit, props him up a bit. Get in focus. There we go. So no, that's a really nice touch. Something also that's nice is that the chest burster is in proportion to Parker. All right, which is a nice touch. Right, I said about Brett. Let's bring in Brett, and and so you can compare and contrast. See, look, Jones is doing exactly the same thing. Like so. All right, so there we go. That's the. I've just realised because I haven't brought Brett down alongside Parker. They're both exactly the same scale, but look, the Brett tail curves up and around much more than Parker. I guess Parker's bulkier. His shoulders are wider, so therefore, you know, his tail doesn't. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. His tail doesn't stick out so much. So there we go. That's the engineering deck done. The big question is Sean going to stop here? Is he going to move further forward? Personally, I would like the next one, Sean, if you ever watch this, I'd like to have Ash with a face hugger coming around here, and him holding that little little light thing that he's using to probe the nooks and crannies of Medical Bay. So there we go. That's a really nice birthday present. It's taken almost 2 months to do. Yeah, thank you to my wife for this lovely project, and thanks to Sean for producing another stellar kit. Thank you very much, Sean, and thank you, folks, and goodbye. Oh, I should say, signing off.